Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the things that can kill you.
Like wasp nests and collapsing democracy and COVID.
You laughed at that, Garen. And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like screens.
Ugh.
Or Bakersfield. Or nightmares.
Yeah, that's terrible. You know what I love
Our theme song?
so much?
Hit it.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. Ooh, how to survive. Ooh, how to survive.
Oh, are we starting?
I think we've started.
Oh, is this the show?
This is the show.
Oh,
It's weird because it's a Friday, and so we're all off.
we're all out of sorts. We're in a Friday state of mind.
We are in a Friday state of mind because on Tuesday,
I was vomiting.
so I don't know, Garen, if you realize exactly what Chris did to herself.
I did a stupid.
So
What did you do?
tell people what you did.
All right, so on Sunday, I decided, what's a fun thing to do on a Sunday? Go
Yeah.
get caught up on my vaccines.
Whoa.
Karen, that's like my
looks like-
mom's ringtone.
Yeah, that was the local CVS. They said you missed one.
Oh, nicely done.
Meningitis.
Yeah. Oh well, I probably need that too, and a DTaP. Is that what it's called? DTaP?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm very overdue for vaccines.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go get my vaccines. Right? I
Right.
need COVID.
Yeah.
I need flu.
Right.
And because I'm an older lady these days, I need my second shingles vaccine.
Oh no.
So, Garen, you're not the age you haven't had the shingles vaccine yet. Just the shingles vaccine in itself takes you out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I would not have recommended you combine that with anything.
Correct.
The other two, yes.
She's correct. She is very correct. And I should have remembered that, but it'd been a while, over 6 months, because it's supposed to be within 6 months. But I couldn't remember because where I'd gotten my first shingles vaccine had closed.
So, is it effective since you waited over 6 months?
My doctor looked and was like, you should be fine. You're still in the window, but don't wait any longer.
Okay.
So I'd just seen him and I was like, all right, I got to get this
So instead
done.
of waiting to do the flu and the COVID,
I was like,
you're like, let's do it all together.
I really have this aversion to certain kinds of errands. Like,
Yeah.
if it's just certain ones that I'm like, oh, God, I hate to do, like washing my car, going to the post office.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure I'm not
Because
unique.
I think it feels like, to me, it feels like being a kid and being dragged to those places.
Yes.
Like, remember when you'd have to go to the bank?
it's so boring.
Remember when you'd have to go
Yes.
inside to the bank
Oh, God.
with your parents?
And if there wasn't a lollipop, forget about it.
Oh, my God.
Did you
And
leave the
you'd-
bank, Danielle, where it was the chute when you drive through and they
Oh,
put
my
the
God.
chute
The pneumatic
in the
thing.
tube, and
I
it-
love that.
and sometimes it would come back with your mom's money and a lollipop.
Now, that I don't remember getting a lollipop.
They weren't good ones. I mean, they were the Dum-Dums, not the best.
You probably have no memory of the pneumatic too,
oh,
right?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
They still have those in
Yeah.
Michigan, probably.
I'm sure they do.
Wait,
think
why
they-
not? Oh, I
I
guess
think-
because they have ATMs, but it
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yes, that was fun.
I guess it was just a person on the other side.
Yeah, there would be a person. They'd have a microphone and they'd be like, "Hello, Elaine," to my mom.
Yeah.
not me. And she'd write a check. Put it in the tube.
Right.
It go shoot underground, right? Or it
ours
through
went up.
Or
I thought it
up,
went up, yeah.
Or up, yeah. Up is probably right. And then it'd go over to the lady who probably his name was Barb or Cheryl.
Yeah.
And had a perm.
Yeah.
And then
They shoot you back your money.
Shoot you back your money.
So cool.
yeah, people won't know about
But
those.
when you had to go inside, it was torture. It was like, I'm so bored. Garen,
Yes.
how was NYC?
It was amazing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I absolutely loved
I
it.
saw some of
I'm
the pics.
so excited.
Looked like you had so much fun.
I had a blast. I dragged my
You
friend
drugged.
to
dragged your friend.
Cornelia Street, which is a Taylor Swift thing.
Okay.
And I'm like, could you just? I know I'm a grown man, but could you just take a picture of me next to the street sign?
Aw.
And then we discovered that was steps away from Stonewall,
Oh, wow.
which I'm like, we saw the monument. It's like, oh, that's cool. There's a
Is that
Stonewall
in the
monument.
village?
East Village, maybe?
Okay.
I kept saying it was Soho. I don't even know what that means.
Soho is, I think it's next to the Village.
I think it is the East Village. I don't know. But I'm like, well, let's go get a drink somewhere. We're here. There's people wandering around.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, let's go to Stonewall. It's up around the block where we
It's
were
still
just
there?
standing. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I went in there and dropped $70. It was
On a drink?
2 drinks. I got just a drink because she had been like basically floating me the entire trip.
Okay.
I'm like, let me at least get us a drink. I got us a drink. That was $30. And then I bought a shirt, like a baseball tee souvenir shirt.
Oh, well,
And that was $35. So
okay. I mean, Jesus, half of it was
half
a
of it
shirt.
was a shirt, was merch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was a blast. We walked through the city, and I'll tell you guys quickly the complete summation of
Yeah.
New York City.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm going to go into the Starbucks and get a coffee. I'm going to walk the streets of New York like I'm a main character, like I'm Carrie fucking Bradshaw.
Love it.
Yeah, you do.
You had a
So
tutu on?
I did. I went in, I got the drink, I walked out, Jess is waiting for me outside. First thing we see, pile of human shit on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Next thing we see, we turn the corner, we're walking the most beautiful woman I think has ever walked the earth.
Oh, yeah, that's New
Head to
York.
toe, like ethereal, beautiful white clothes, just
Yeah.
beautiful. And she walks past us, and then this teenager runs across the street and gets arrested. 1, 2, 3, literally within 2 minutes of
Yes.
each other.
Amazing.
It's perfectly New
That's
York.
New York.
Wow.
100%.
How about you, Danielle?
Oh, my friend from New York was in town, and she said, I'm going to be in town for this wedding, and then on Sunday, we're going to have a pool party / rant. Do you want to do some time? And I was like, I haven't done stand-up in a very long time, but sure.
Okay.
So I prepared material, and I was like kind of nervous. Only nervous because I'm like, I don't know if this is funny at all. You know, that just like, I don't know. I really can't tell if
You
this
hadn't
is funny.
tested it.
Yeah. So, well, you know, sometimes you write something and you're like, oh, that's good. But I was like, I just don't know. This is just all.
Yeah.
So I get there and it's like this older lady's home. She's selling it. And
Okay.
it's one of those amazing Los Angeles homes that could only happen like in the valley, but south of Ventura. Mm-hmm. This amazing house. That's very cool. Almost like you'd find in Topanga.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it was getting late and like I was like, I guess maybe we're not going to do the comedy part. We're just like all talking. It's fine. It's nice.
Yeah.
So then we decided we're going to do it. And I mean, no one's in the pool. It gets cold.
Yeah.
And like,
it's not pool weather.
yeah. And
Oh, what am I saying? It's like 90 degrees every day right now.
yeah. But so there was no microphone or anything. We just did it outside. There was like 10 people there.
Yeah.
So I did like stand up for 10 people.
How'd it go?
It was fun. It was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of wine first, so I'm not exactly sure what I said.
Even better.
Like I got home and I was like, oh, I improvised something funny, but I don't know what part it was about. Like I couldn't.
I wish you would have recorded it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but in my mind, it went pretty well considering I haven't
That's-
done stand up in a long time. So it
That's
was
all
fun.
Since Halloween is coming,
Yes.
and this is something that affects us all, I think we're going to talk about nightmares.
Ooh.
Guys, are your nightmares trying to kill you?
I had a really bad nightmare the other night.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It wasn't like scary. It was just like upsetting.
Often they are.
Yeah.
Garen, do you have a lot of nightmares?
Not a lot. I used to have a lot, not a lot, but I used to have some really weird ones. I had one on the plane, not this trip, but the last trip I took, I had one where the plane was coming apart.
While you were on the plane?
Yeah, and
That's
I
awful.
was like on the edge of the thing, and then I started to fall, and I was like, Siri, call mom. Like as I'm falling out of the plane, I'm trying to call my mom.
Siri, call mom.
And then I woke
So
up.
sad and modern.
Oh shit! It actually called my mom.
That's really funny.
Hilarious.
All right, so I'm going to give you some info. I'm going to take you through a journey, guys. This is going to be, I hope, fun.
Okay. I'm
right.
excited.
So nightmares are more common in children, especially under those age 10. Do you think girls have more nightmares or boys?
Girls.
Nailed it. Yeah. They are a part of normal development, except in the case of PTSD. They usually aren't symptoms of any underlying medical condition or mental disorder.
Okay.
Okay. So generally, for most people, pretty standard fare in life. They can be a problem if they screw up your sleep, right?
Yeah.
Because this can lead to insomnia, difficulty functioning during the day, like if they're waking you up a lot. Not the same as sleepwalking. That's something else. Sleeping is also called somnambulism.
Yeah.
Somnambulism. I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is the thing where people walk around.
Somnambulism, I think.
Yeah, thank you. They walk around though they're still asleep. Night terrors are something completely different, right? And that's also known as sleep terrors. Children who have night terrors, they usually sleep through those episodes. They don't recall the incidents in the morning. They also might have a tendency to sleepwalk or urinate in bed. So
Did your kids ever sleepwalk?
Benji did.
Yeah,
a little
Oliver
bit.
did too.
I think, boys are.
It's weird.
It's wild, right? Benji will still sometimes. It seems like he sleepwalks to go to the bathroom once every night, and once he, instead of going to the toilet, he turned and opened the vanity, because our vanity has it's almost like a Lazy Susan the way it opens at the front.
Okay.
Because it's like oldie timey, original to the house, and we keep a trash can in there. He opened that up, peed in the trash can.
Oh, yeah.
Closed it, went back to bed.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, wow, that's interesting.
That's wild, yeah.
So,
I'm hoping it wasn't a mesh trash can.
The night terrors usually stop once a child reaches puberty. But, some adults still have night terrors when their lives are really stressful.
Okay, and that's when you wake up screaming, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and you could be, dangerous to your partner. Sven and I just listened on a recent road trip to this Radio Lab episode. He's a big Radio Lab nerd, you guys.
Love it.
It's a good podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not here to promote other podcasts, and they don't need my support.
No, they don't.
But there's a really good one on sleep, and one of the sort of little stories in it is about this older guy who would have night terrors and be choking his wife.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he hurt her. I mean, he didn't kill her, but she was like, that's when I made him get rid of his guns.
Oh, shit.
There aren't any tests to diagnose us with nightmares. But if you are having issues with nightmares, your doctor may say, let's do a sleep study.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have either of you had a sleep study?
I have.
You have. Did you get anything interesting out of it?
That I had borderline apnea.
Okay.
So no. Nothing interesting.
Yeah. Benji had one once, and I had to stay there with him. So I got to sit in a chair all night and not sleep. It was a lot of fun for me. They might run other tests if your doctor's like, hey, there could be an underlying condition like PTSD or anxiety. Okay. How are nightmares treated?
How?
With respect.
Well, put some respect on your nightmare.
They deserve it.
I'm hip.
All right, let's get back to that merch list.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Wait, just quickly tell the story of wearing your "What's Wrong with That Guy" shirt.
Oh yeah. I was walking. I love the Dakota, that building. So I'm
In New York.
where they filmed Rosemary's Baby, and where John Lennon got killed. So
Is that why you love it? Because the one of the Beatles was murdered there?
Yeah.
You hate him.
They had cleaned the sidewalk too much, so there's not even any remnants. Anyway, we went there to see it, and we were just walking around that part of the city, and this lady just comes up, probably from this table to me, to my face. What's that shirt? I'm like, what? Oh, I think I said it was Rory Culkin. It's Rory. And then I was like, no, it's Kieran from Succession. Yeah, it's merch for the show I work on. She's just stares at me for a second. It's beautiful, and then walks away.
Wait, I didn't know she said it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's beautiful, and then walks away. And I'm like,
She thinks the picture of Kieran Culkin in shame with the words "What's wrong with that guy?"
It's beautiful.
Is beautiful, and she was an older lady.
Yeah, probably.
And
70s,
no
late
one
70s.
knows more than older ladies. That is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was very sweet. She didn't come.
That's
she wasn't
so
crazy or
great.
anything like that.
Beautiful.
It's just.
That's the best endorsement for our merch we've ever had.
That would only
Yeah, it
happen
was
in New
really funny.
York.
I wish you could have said, would you say that again? And then had your friend film it.
Yeah.
That could have been.
Can we do another take? 1 second.
I don't even need it for our socials, just for us.
Yeah.
Just for us to see that moment.
So good. Okay, so nightmares.
Nightmares. Okay. First, you got to find out.
Respect your nightmares.
Respect maybe the fear they deserve.
Okay.
Right? That's how you treat them. So if they're being occurring as a result of PTSD, first you want to sort that out with a therapist.
Get that
and
checked
a doctor.
out. Yeah.
Your doctor may prescribe the blood pressure drug prazosin.
Okay.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So recent studies showed that this medication helps treat nightmares related to PTSD. Your doctor may recommend counseling or stress reduction techniques if any of the following conditions is triggering your nightmares: anxiety, depression, stress. I mean, that's all pretty obvious that those things could make your nightmares increase or give you nightmares. Okay. They may give you a prescription for sleep disturbances if that's in rare cases. Let's cut that out. What are the most common nightmares?
So is this like being in high school again, and you haven't studied for the test, and you're naked?
That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah,
falling.
Teeth falling out.
Oh, the teeth fall. That happens to me a lot.
Mine is, and it has somewhat changed with technology, and I probably mentioned this before, is that I can't dial the phone properly.
Oh,
I can never get the phone. I haven't done that in a while, but I think the last time, as it went on, it was a cell phone, but like for years and years and years, it was like a dial,
cell phone,
or like a push, home landline.
My cell phone, I bet that nightmare, like I wouldn't say like once a week, but very often is that I need help.
Yeah.
And I can't get my phone to work.
Right.
It's awful. It's awful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was a study in 2018 in the Journal of Clinical Sleep with 1,200 participants. So here's some of I'm going to give you the top 3: death or injury to a loved one, failure or helplessness. I think that would be the phone thing, right?
Yeah.
And physical aggression. Those were the top 3.
Interesting.
They found several differences between men and women. More females reported experiencing themes such as physical aggression and health-related concerns. Males reported nightmares about helplessness and accidents.
Oh.
Another survey from AmeriSleep explored specific nightmares in 2,000 survey respondents, and they found similar results. Their 2 most frequent reported nightmares were falling and being chased. Do you guys fall a lot?
I mean, I've done that thing where, like, in real life, you fall in the bed. So I guess, but I don't remember the dream part.
I've had that. But even when I had that plane dream, I remember doing that.
Yeah.
And the people around me must have thought I don't know.
Oh, because you were in the
you jerked or whatever.
I don't know how evident that is outside of my own
Yes.
head. So I don't know if it just feels like I'm actually doing something because I'm snapping out of whatever level of sleep I was in.
Yeah.
Or if I'm really just like shaking my whole row of seat.
Yeah.
While someone's sitting next to me.
50% of the respondents reported frequently having nightmares about death, feeling lost, and feeling trapped.
Yeah, it's the trapped thing. That's, I think, where the phone stuff comes in. And you said all of your dreams are nightmares, right?
Not all. Well, I think that I just preparing for this episode, I kept a journal next to my bed for a couple days, and I sometimes don't remember my dreams.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Right.
But when I do remember them, they are not good usually.
They're not positive, yeah.
I have a lot of trap dreams in being trapped in small spaces. I'll have
Ooh.
to. Often I have to go down a staircase, or I have to go into a room. I have to follow somebody. I have to get out of a place, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I have to then start crawling. It's a lot of claustrophobia dreams, and it's.
And is that one of your anxieties? Is claustrophobia?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have to face it that often.
Oh, right, because the MRI.
Yeah, but it's like weirdly that I don't have to. I mean, I did do that cave thing, and that was pretty. That was pretty big facing my fear. So you'd think I wouldn't have to have any more nightmares about it, but then stop that. This also found significant differences between men and women. Women have a significant higher rate of having nightmares about a loved one passing versus men. And they're also more likely to have nightmares about being visited by a deceased family member or friend.
Well, since my brother's died, I have those dreams a lot.
You see him in your dream a lot?
Well, yes. And it's always, it's going to sound very dark, but it's always because there was a time period between us getting the letter that he was going to kill himself and that he was found. So that's kind of where the dream always takes place, which is that I could do something to stop it.
Oh God.
Or I forget if he's alive or not in the dream.
Yeah.
That's the kind of recurring thing where I'm like, oh wait, could I do something? Is he just missing? Maybe he's just missing. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, he's dead. So that happens a lot.
And you realize it in the dream. Or later.
Yeah, no. Yeah, in the dream, I'm trying to figure it out, and or I could say something that would make him not do it, like that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's stressful.
it's very stressful.
Is it ever nice? Because you get to see him and interact with him?
I'm trying to remember. I think yes, because sometimes there's relief. Oh, you're not dead.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh wait, shit, are you? Like that sort of thing. Yeah. So
I have about once a month of dreams about my best friend from like childhood through, well, until she died, who's killed by a drunk driver.
oh my god.
When she was 26 and had left 3 kids behind.
Oh shit.
And
she had 3 kids by
26.
By 26.
Yeah,
Wow.
she got married really young. It's nice most of the time.
Okay, that's good.
But also sometimes it's like, it's different where it's like she's alive, but then her husband's dead, or she's alive, but her kids were all killed. So it's like she's really sad in the dream.
Oh, gotcha.
And I have to console her because she lost her family. Like it's very strange. Like sometimes I'll be having the dream with her, but be like, but wait, you're dead. Like, how are you
Right.
here? And other times I just get to spend time with her. Like,
Oh,
but
that's
so
good.
interesting because mostly in my life, and this sounds horrible to admit, I don't think of her a lot
That doesn't sound horrible.
because she's been gone so long.
So long, yeah.
You know, that, and I'm not in the part of the world where I interact with her family,
Right,
who
right.
still survives. So it's interesting that she's comes up so often in my dreams.
That's really interesting.
That's like the only, for me, belief in like the spirit moving on. You know, and I'm like, maybe they do because
She's contacting
I'm
you.
always seeing her.
That's really interesting.
Because I don't, really have a belief in that stuff. I've given you some data just now on the differences between men and women. There haven't been any studies yet that include transgender or gender nonconforming participants, but it's likely that nightmares are more common in the trans community than the general population
Yeah.
because that population is associated with PTSD, anxiety disorders, and other mental health conditions, which is also associated with frequent chronic nightmares. So that's those conditions are far more common among the trans community. Some studies have shown that PTSD is 12 to 13 more times common in the trans people than in the cisgender population.
I mean, I would think that would be because of the stress of dealing with people.
Yes, I think that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. So that'll be interesting when that research comes out. What can you do, Danielle, Garen, or maybe me, since I'm the one that is more afflicted, it seems, with the nightmares. Lifestyle changes may help decrease your frequency of your nightmares. You can try exercising at least 3 times per week. Danielle, you got that covered.
I got it.
Garen, we know you walk here.
Yeah, that's exercise.
That's pretty good exercise.
Nothing but sunny dreams.
Look at you. Limiting the amount of alcohol and caffeine you drink. I mean, I think we're good on that.
Yeah.
We're not mismanaging it too much.
No.
I'm not drinking anything anymore. And Danielle, you don't drink much.
Yeah, I've been drinking a little more often.
What?
Yeah. But still very little.
I mean, I want to. And once I get my migraines under control,
Yeah. You're coming back.
I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I miss it. Avoid tranquilizers.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'll avoid them.
I can't have any fun. Engaging in relaxation techniques such as yoga or meditation before you go to bed. I kind of do that already. I do some yoga. I don't meditate.
Before bed? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Like not every night, but I try to do some gentle stretches.
Is it hard when someone's sucking on a popsicle right next to you?
You know who's not doing that right now?
Oh,
My
good.
husband.
Good.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice, guys. Establishing a sleep pattern by going to bed at the same time every night and getting up at the same time every morning.
I do that except for the weekend.
How about you, Garen?
I generally go to bed around the same time, which is obscenely late.
Would you also wake up obscenely late, or what's?
I'm usually up by 10 or 11. On days I don't have to be up.
What time do you go to bed?
3 or 4.
Holy schmoly!
Yeah.
I do not do this.
You don't go to the bed at the same time every night?
I do not, and I do not wake up at the same time.
Why?
I don't know how to do that.
Well, what do you mean you don't know how? Like, because you don't get the kids ready in the morning, you don't have to get up.
No, I kind of wake up and like sometimes I'll do a little assistance if it's needed.
Okay.
I don't like, it's not wildly different times I go to bed every night. I would say it's between 10:30 and midnight.
Okay.
But then I have to try to make myself get up before 8:30 because I can sleep until noon.
I was like that in my 20s. I could for sure sleep until noon.
And I'm still, but the
But I
problem is
can't do
that's
it
when the
now.
nightmares come.
Oh, in the morning.
If I sleep
Oh.
too long. So that's one of the reasons why I try not to let myself sleep. But also
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
it's too much. It's like not good for my body.
Well,
My
you might
body
not
hurts.
be fully sleeping.
Right.
I think I'm
you're
not getting
getting-
good. I think I'm not getting good sleep through the whole experience.
Yeah. You know what's funny that you say that because I mean, when you wake up and you remember your nightmare, it feels like you just had it, right?
Yeah.
So it must be right at the end.
Yeah, and REM sleep is in the second half of your sleep cycle, so it's not happening in the first
Oh, okay.
second half. It's not in when you first go to sleep usually. It's
Yeah, that
later.
makes sense.
It's the second part of the night, I think. So then it's later. Anyway, I'm not an expert. I'm just an expert on nightmares right
Yeah.
now, just for this moment. What causes them? Well, guys, it's obvious stuff. I'm going to give you some of the things. Scary movies and books can do it.
Yeah.
Snacking before bedtime.
I mean, Ebenezer Scrooge taught us that.
Exactly.
A little bit of gristle, a little bit of wine or whatever that he thinks is causing these nightmares.
Exactly. Illness, fever, medications, like over-the-counter sleep aids. You know what? Melatonin will make my nightmares insane,
Oh, I took one last night.
and you were fine.
I was fine. Yeah.
Alcohol, drugs,
Yeah.
stress, anxiety, depression, sleep apnea, and narcolepsy. I'm glad I don't have those. And the big things that are PTSD, an anxiety disorder, and there's something called nightmare disorder.
Oh.
Guess what? It's a sleep disorder marked by frequent nightmares, which makes sense. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what nightmare disorder, like what's the difference between saying I have nightmares
Yes.
and what nightmare disorder
Yes.
is. Because I want to make sure we get through some interesting stuff. So nightmare disorder means it's a parasomnia, which is a behavioral sleep abnormality. And it means you have a repeated pattern of frightening and vivid dreams that affect your quality of life.
Ooh.
It can be mild to severe, can be short-term or chronic. Okay, it's treatable with psychotherapy and medication, and it most commonly affects people with PTSD.
Okay.
So mild would mean you have one nightmare per week. Moderate is one or more nightmares per week, but less than nightly. Severe is nightmares every night.
Okay.
Okay, so it can affect all kinds of people, but it's most common in people with PTSD. It affects 50 to 90% of people with PTSD.
Whoa.
And it occurs in people who have social anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder. Okay, so those are the people who get it the most. It doesn't mean you have to have one of those things to have
Right.
it, but those are the populations who get it the most. It's in 2 to 8% of the general U.S. population. So it's not
Yeah.
that uncommon, I guess. They don't know what causes it because they also don't know what causes nightmares. Researchers still don't even know really why people dream,
It's so crazy,
right?
right?
They
It's
kind
the
of, there's all these
weirdest thing.
theories, but they're like, yeah, actually, we don't really know.
Yeah.
We kind of think it's our brain's way of almost like schluffing off what
Yeah.
our brains don't need.
Yeah.
Kind of just going, huh.
Right.
But there's also all these other theories, but nobody really actually knows.
It's pretty wild.
So there's a lot of theories on nightmare disorder, but what they are right now, it's all theories. There's treatment. It's psychotherapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the sort of running most recommended therapy. And a lot of it's like it's called image rehearsal therapy or exposure relaxation and rescripting therapy. And I think that's really when you're just working with a therapist who's like, we're going to write down your dream. Now we're going to rewrite it. And now we're going to rewrite your ending of your dream. So it's really just going over and
interesting.
over your dreams and helping you relax about them until you can sort of rewrite the story. It almost sounds a lot like lucid dreaming. People who learn, are you guys able to control your dreams at all?
I don't know.
So I can lucid dream. I can control my dreams. I sort of taught myself how to do that because I have so many nightmares. And I have since I
What
was
does
a kid.
that mean? You say this isn't, I'm not going to jump off the cliff?
Yeah. I can change my mind in dreams.
Wow.
And because they get so bad, I can make decisions to get away from like if somebody's chasing me, I can say to them, like, you're not real. I'm not going to do this. I can make myself fly.
Whoa.
I've done that before. Like, I have sort of trained myself
This is so crazy.
to have control in my dreams
The only thing
and wake myself up because they've been so horrifying. Like, so horrifying. I wouldn't even share some of the things that have happened that I've been able to wake
Does
myself
a guy
up.
in a striped sweater come and visit you?
I mean, basically. But just really dark stuff so that I've been able to, like, and my kids are like, Mom, you're like, I've woken my kids up because I've been screaming
Whoa.
so loud and like flailing my arms and screaming at whoever's in my dream that like my kids have woken me up and been like, Mom, it's okay. So
I'm starting to think that your question might be valid.
Yeah, right?
What's going on?
what question?
If there's a guy in a striped sweater
Oh.
talking to you.
I mean, yeah, kind of. But like, anyway, so lucid dreaming is good. It sounds like this is kind of in that vein.
I mean, the only thing I can think is that I tell myself, this is just a dream. It's okay. This is a dream. Like
Yeah.
if it's something really bad.
Yeah.
Which I guess it is because I know I've told myself that many times.
So there you go.
But other than that, I don't know that I can control it.
So there are medications for nightmare disorder, and you can talk to your, doctor about this. If you have maybe the thought you might have nightmare disorder, this is something you should seek help for. You should see a sleep doctor, and then
Like if you're on propofol or something, is that like such a deep sleep that you're not dreaming?
is that like what Michael Jackson
Yeah.
died from? Maybe. I mean, it's almost close to. Isn't that almost close to anesthesia? Because we don't
Yeah.
dream during anesthesia, right?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that's. No, I don't think
Not
we do.
sure.
I don't-
Okay.
I don't think so. I think that's just like
Yeah, it seems
Death.
like you're totally out. Yeah.
the prognosis is good. No, the prognosis varies. Just kidding. JK, erase that. So for some people, it just resolves on its own. For others, it can persist for decades if it's not treated. Untreated chronic nightmare disorder increases the risk of attempting and reattempting suicide.
Jesus.
I don't know if it's from that or if it's the person. They also
Right.
have pre
Causal or
coexisting issues. I'm sure.
Yeah. Right.
So and because sleep is vitally important to overall health, right? I mean, it's so important. So make sure you seek out some kind of professional. And one sleep expert, let me see if I can find this, says, not all sleep doctors are good with this stuff. She says many specialists are actually specializing in sleep apnea. So make sure you talk with someone who has experience in nightmares
Okay.
specifically.
Different doctors.
Yes. So I want to share this. So I was worried because I had seen this piece, Can Nightmares Actually Kill You? And I came across this interesting piece in Teen Vogue because there were articles over the years that had made loose connections between nightmares and a rare condition called sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome.
Whoa.
Or SUNDS, SUNDS.
Okay.
So this can lead to sudden cardiac death during sleep, okay? And cases have been reported and studied in Southeast Asia. So this woman, Kimberly Fenn, she's an associate professor of psychology at Michigan State University, they'd interviewed her for this piece, and she says it's not possible that although, nightmares are disturbing, obviously.
Yeah.
They can't kill you.
Okay.
Okay. This SUNDS is found primarily in men, young to middle age, and is often associated with heart damage. And that there are so many studies that have shown a genetic link so that these individuals have died from SUNDS are more likely to show either specific, this is a word I haven't seen before, alleles, alleles.
Nope.
Alleles of some genes or mutations in certain genes. Okay. So this is really rare and it involves complex and multiple genes. So in other words, although the exact pathophysiology of SUNDS is still unknown, it is genetically based biological disorder and is not the result of nightmares or dreams.
Okay.
So we can sleep and rest easily. It's not,
With your nightmares.
it's not, yes, I can with my nightmares.
Yeah.
It's super rare. So this clinical psychologist, Shelby Harris, says she specializes in sleep medicine and of treatment of nightmares and insomnia. She says, I've never seen it. I've worked in a very busy sleep center in New York for years and specialize in insomnia and nightmares. And so she's never seen it. But they do say nightmares can be harmful to your health,
Okay.
right? Because repeated nightmares, it's not the actual nightmare itself, it's the number of sleep interruptions.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So it's the persistent and recurrent nightmares that can have consequences, and recurrent sleep disturbances, right, that can lead to other psychiatric or physical sleep disorders. Maybe that's why I want to sleep so long, because I'm being woken up through the night.
Right.
I'm not getting good sleep. So it also feed into anxiety and depression. So that's like this weird inverse, is that the right word? Like relationship where you don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Because individuals who suffer from anxiety and depression are more likely to have nightmares.
Right.
And nightmares likely exacerbate symptoms of anxiety and depression, right? So, and consistently poor sleep is associated with reduced immune function, increased stress, and the associated consequences and change in endocrine function. So, hence, everyone should also practice good sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene. And if you don't, there's lots of, if you Google sleep hygiene, that's going to be telling you soft lighting.
Okay.
Make sure you like your sheets. Don't be on your phone in your bed.
Right.
Don't watch a bunch of TV before you go to bed. You know,
Right.
soft music, do the yoga stretching, like all the stuff they tell us.
Right.
Don't look at the news before you go to sleep.
Right.
Really, it's the number one thing that I keep trying to say to my dad is get off your device.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest, I think,
For depression.
impediment.
Yeah.
Impetus? No, impediment.
Impediment
What are words?
to sleep.
To sleep. And I think a lot of people are guilty of it. I know I am. Of looking at my phone too close to bedtime.
Yeah.
I'll get in a good habit and then I break it.
Right.
And I got to be like, okay, stop doing that.
I always read before bed.
Reading before bed is a great idea. Unless you're like, I'm going to read Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
That might not be the best. Do you guys want to hear a story?
Yes.
All right. Garen might know this a little bit or not. I don't know. All right. I'm excited about this. I don't know. I should be excited. That's the wrong word. I'm fascinated by this. This made me want to read this other book. I like when I find a story that makes me want to learn more. In 1984, Wes Craven introduced the world to one of the most iconic horror films of all time. This is from history.com, by the way.
I just wrote that down.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love
Yeah.
that. His creation of Freddy Krueger as a demon who kills teens in their dreams was heinous, terrifying, and literally ripped from the headlines.
Oh, what? What?
Craven found inspiration for the landmark horror film through an article that was published in the LA Times. He recounted the story of a refugee child from the Cambodian genocide who was terrified to sleep for fear that he would be attacked in his dreams and never wake up.
Oh my God.
When he finally fell asleep, his parents thought the crisis was over. Then they heard screams in the middle of the night, Craven told Vulture. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of a nightmare.
What?
The story Craven described wasn't an isolated incident. Dozens of Southeast Asian refugees in America died for unknown reasons in their sleep during the 1980s. The mysterious deaths were usually among young men in their 20s and 30s from the Hmong ethnic group and affected a large enough segment of this population to alarm public health experts. The people suffering from this puzzling ailment were typically refugees from Laos, a small landlocked country in Southeast Asia. Just a small side note, I had a Laotian boyfriend from this, not from Hmong, but who had come from this refugee.
Did he have nightmares?
You know what? I'm not sure. The Hmong, he did have a lot of cocaine. The Hmong minority group had been persecuted in Laos after they were recruited by the CIA to fight North Vietnamese soldiers during the Vietnam War. More than 30,000 Hmong soldiers helped the U.S. fight communism in the northern highlands where they lived, but died at a rate 10 times higher than their American counterparts. Yeah, we really did them right.
Yeah.
In 1975, the Vietnam War ended and Laos became a communist country. The new leadership there viewed the Hmong as traitors for their work with the United States.
Ah, okay.
Many survivors from the war fled their homes after the war to become refugees in Thailand or the U.S. It was a forced migration under the most trying conditions, says Dr. Kathai Ray. I'm saying that wrong. Kathai Ray. I'm sorry, Dr. Associate Professor at UC Berkeley and author of Southeast Asian Migration, People on the Move in Search of Work, Refuge, and Belonging. It was a very long journey and a very treacherous journey. The group's troubles did not end with resettlement, as they often remained traumatized by their experiences back home. These are people who had endured a great deal and had been subjected to a great deal. They suffered high rates of poverty, and a mysterious ailment seemed to befall them. Like Freddy Krueger's target in Nightmares on Elm Street, many of the afflicted were teenagers and young men. Headlines such as "Mysterious Fatal Malady Strikes Hmong Men" and "Night Deaths of Asian Men Unexplained" ran in the LA Times throughout the late 70s and early 80s, any one of which could have sparked Wes Craven's imagination. One 1981 article describes the scene of a Laotian refugee who relocated to the U.S. from a refugee camp in Thailand with his family, but shortly after settling in his new country, 47-year-old Yong Lang Tao died in his sleep with his wife beside him in tears.
What the?
He was the fourth Hmong man to die while sleeping in 9 months, and the 13th nocturnal Hmong death recorded since 1978. Investigators could find no medical explanation for the deaths, but many community members attributed the deaths to chemical nerve agents that refugee soldiers of the Vietnam War would have been exposed to. That theory was not supported by doctors. Nerve gas doesn't act this way. There's no evidence, Dr. Larry V. Lumen, county medical examiner, said. Secondly, if it was nerve gas, why does it affect only males? And why only during the night? Other Hmong believed they were being punished by the spirits of their ancestors for leaving their homeland. Their anxiety centered around the inability to do right by your ancestral spirits because you're not there or because you don't have the right things to perform the right rituals, says Dr. I do think that for many of the Hmong of that generation, the traditional explanation remains salient, if not more salient than explanations related to cardiovascular problems. The fatal ailment, later classified as sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome, SUNS, as we discussed a moment earlier, has been investigated by the Center for Disease Control at length. However, the wave of SUNS death among Southeast Asians, particularly the Hmong group, is still unexplained.
Bizarre.
And it's been over 100 men.
Really?
Dr. Suggests the years of stress that the Hmong endured could be a factor in the disease. Was that a reflection of what kind of stressors that come with being forcibly removed from a familiar world to a completely alien and sometimes even hostile context? The threat of this mysterious death sentence given the two Hmong refugees may be even more frightening than the fictional serial murder that it inspired.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So this, I read later, so the Hmong people call this evil spirit Dab Tog, this entity that haunts their victims, that this is what they believe kills them.
Yeah.
And this woman, in this other article I read, this woman, Dr. Shelley Adler, she's a professor of medicine at the University of California, believes the answer may lie in the connection between the mind and the body. She grants that the physical mechanism at play in these deaths is Brugada syndrome. That's like another explanation, another sort of word for SUNS. SUNS and Brugada syndrome, I think, are kind of the same thing. It's a genetic link, Brugada syndrome. But alleges that the fears of retribution for Dab Sog for the rituals they were unable to complete far from their homes and the legitimacy of their beliefs activated, though, listen to this, I've never heard this before, nocebo effect.
Nocebo.
Complicated by their heart arrhythmia, and that was the thing that ultimately killed them. This ties into the nocebo effect, the inverse to the placebo effect, where rather than the power of the mind to create healing from inactive substances or the power of suggestion, the effect is to suffer harm from the same.
Gotcha.
In a sense, then, if Dr. Adler's correct, Dab Sog did kill the men, or their belief in her did.
Whoa.
So I thought that was a really interesting
so crazy.
addendum, is this idea that, like, they're also right. Like, their belief in this evil spirit.
Stressing is...
like, their hearts are actually bad.
Right. Because if it's the Hmong and they're a minority, they might share enough genetic, material that it is a genetic thing in their culture, in their not culture, you know what I'm saying, in their ethnic minority that they share.
So they do, like, legitimately have this arrhythmia,
right? But
they also have this belief that's so strong that it could have affected, like, it's hard to know how much that affects people. Like, people always say, like, if you have a positive attitude, you'll heal from your cancer.
Right.
And I'm just like, lots of people have positive attitudes and they still die from their cancer.
Exactly.
But it's also like, can people's really negative attitudes strongly affect them? And I think that's such a fascinating story. And led to a book that I think you would really like, Danielle, that is a story about this culture. It's called The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, a Hmong child, her American doctors, and the collision of two cultures.
Okay, what's it called?
The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, a Hmong child, her American doctors, and the collision of two cultures.
Okay. That's great. I can't wait to see what I call that book when I have to remember it.
Ghost's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look out for that ghost.
I cannot wait.
Who you gonna call is what I'm gonna.
Who you gonna call?
Who you gonna call?
Yeah. And that's it. I think we covered it.
Fascinating.
Well-
Well, I guess we'll be right back
Yeah, that sounds great.
with our guest.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, Chris. How was your break?
You know what? I have no memory of it.
Did you fall asleep?
Might have.
Did
Maybe I
Freddie-
do have
did-
narcolepsy.
yeah, did he-
And Freddy
did you
Krueger came and visited me. And then didn't you guys hear me wake up screaming?
On the first half of the show, we talked about how to survive nightmares, and now we're going to talk about how to survive a nightmare situation with our returning guest, Jackie Kashian. Hi, Jackie. You are officially introduced.
One of our favorites. We only bring back our favorites.
Yes, and
Well,
Jackie,
that's good.
you have
Am I a dupe?
you have so many dates coming up.
So many dates. JackieKation.com or FamilyPetAncestry.com goes to JackieKation.com because it's funny. FamilyPetAncestry.com. If you type FamilyPetAncestry.com because you wonder if your cat came over on the Mayflower or if your dog's eligible to join the dogs of the American Revolution, you'll find my tour dates.
That is maybe my favorite thing I've ever
I bought
so
it.
funny.
It made me laugh so hard.
Is it a bit in your act?
It was 10 years ago, and I've always renewed it because it made me laugh over
please
and over.
bring it
it's
back.
Because you know
good.
there is pet DNA now, and
Yeah.
there wasn't when I wrote the
Wait.
joke.
Can I
that's-
tell you
you're
something
prescient.
about pet DNA real
Yeah.
quick? So we had a foster dog that we've recently returned.
What?
I know.
What?
I
Word
just
foster dog.
What?
I just drove
Why
her
did
back
you-
yesterday.
why?
Where
I-
did you return her to? Walmart?
Anaheim, and I cried the way there and I cried the way back.
What happened?
She's
Should I
too
not ask?
much.
She
Just too
wouldn't
much.
stop snapping and growling at my son.
Okay, well, that's a good reason.
She
It's
loved
so
everyone.
hard.
Yeah, she loved everyone else in the house. But we had done a DNA test on her.
Oh.
Because we wanted to be able to take her to Germany with us. My husband is German and his family's there. Anyway, what's funny to me about the DNA testing with dogs, because you can't take pit bulls there.
Oh, is that what it is?
You can't-
Okay.
you
Because
can't-
it's redundant.
You can't take any
you know,
of...
UPS doesn't wear brown shirts. Anyway, go ahead. Their uniforms are green because
What?
Nazis ruin everything.
They do ruin everything.
But they used to wear brown.
No, that's why they don't They don't wear brown shirts in Germany.
Oh, in Germany.
In
Got
Germany,
it.
they
Okay,
their
gotcha.
uniforms are green.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So that's one of the breeds that you're not allowed to have in Germany.
Fair
is
enough.
pit bulls,
Which is why you needed the DNA thing.
Rottweilers. There's like 4 breed. Any of those sort of pitty American pit bull terrier attack dogs.
Even though they're very sweet.
They're so sweet. That's one of the things that made her so sweet is that
Yes.
she did have a lot of pit bull in her when we got the DNA test back. But the DNA test, just like 23andMe now,
Yep.
is like meet her relatives.
so funny.
My daughter thought when we got it back, she was going to be able to connect to all of this dog's sisters and brothers. And she's like, no, we're going to find out who all of sisters and brothers are. And I was like, it's only if like other people who have adopted
Do it.
her siblings also
Yeah.
sign up for this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting like 800 emails a day from this, just like 23andMe.
You
But
should
did
unsubscribe.
Oh, I'm
but
definitely
did you
going to.
find any relatives of the dog?
No.
So she's a true orphan in every sense. This poor dog.
And the other irony, she's supposed to be a black lab.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry, we're going to get back to you, Jackie. You're the
Oh,
guest.
that's fine.
She's like 0 black lab.
Oh.
And every breed that's not legal in Germany.
Oh, wow.
So you never would have been able to
No,
bring
we
her.
would never be able to bring her. She was like Rottweiler, American Pit Bull, the other pit, like 4 other kinds of pit bull, all the ones.
That's so funny. Tell us your story.
Here's what happened, you guys. So about 3 weeks ago, and I don't know if I never got COVID over for the whole 4 years.
What?
I never
Which is
got COVID.
amazing 'cause you travel
I
so much.
Live in a petri dish. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I travel around this country, and here's the thing: I'm a hobbyist when it comes to masking. Right?
Okay.
Like I wish that I masked more often. We are all wrong to not mask.
Yeah.
But I too am bored and willing to die.
So you
Yeah.
weren't like I didn't get it because I was so careful.
Nope, that is not why.
That's not the reason.
I always mask when I travel.
Yeah.
I'll say that when I fly.
Yeah.
So in
On the
airports
air-
and on planes, I always wear a mask. And only once in the last 4 years has anyone ever said to me, "You know, you don't have to wear that." And then I got to say back to that guy, "Do we know each other?"
Good.
Good.
And then he went away.
Good.
So it was nice. Anyway, so
I dare you to wear your Harris Waltz hat with the mask the next time you travel.
the next time I travel, I have an abortion by mail T-shirt
Oh,
that
God.
I wear with a QR code that I wear through airports all the
love
time.
that.
Wow.
And I've only had the Ute come up to me and say, "Does that really work?" And I'm like, "Please take a picture."
But what does it mean?
It takes you to PlanC.org.
And what is Plan C?
And PlanC.org has places to buy abortion pills by mail
Oh.
and the legal ramifications of buying abortion pills
Gotcha.
by mail in whatever state you happen to be in.
I got to get that shirt.
It's great, PlanC.org.
Okay.
And I wear it in airports, and every kid working selling coffee and triangle sandwiches, there's always somebody who's like, "Is that real?" And then I have one of those Japanese Dodger hats. I don't like baseball, but I love baseball hats.
Yeah.
And so I bought one of I guess there's a Japanese player on the
He's-
Dodgers.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Otani.
Otani,
He's
thank
very
you.
Otani.
tall.
He's very tall and he's very famous.
Yeah.
And it says Dodgers in Japanese.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's super fun. And I wear that. And I also have, I try to put, the abortion by mail shirt is pretty intense.
Yeah, that is pretty
So
intense.
I try to wear a hat that's not quite as political with
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah.
Or when I wear the Harris Waltz hat, I have a T-shirt that says "Humankind be both," which
I love that.
by the way, when you're wearing a Harris Waltz, if I get a growl and then they look at my shirt, they're like, "I can't do anything."
Oh,
about
good.
it."
Nice.
That's a
So-
good one, too.
Yeah. I don't want to have a confrontation, but
I think you might.
but I'm willing to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the Humankind T-shirt stops the confrontation
very
they're
good.
just like, then I'm the monster, and you're like,
Right.
yes,
That doesn't usually
I don't
stop
think-
people, but that's good that it is.
oh, it's stopping people.
Good.
And I don't get a lot of, and plus I look like your aunt.
Right.
You know, I look like everybody's favorite aunt, and so nobody's. What are you gonna? I mean, people look at me and they're like, "What's she gonna do? Vote?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I am. And so, anyway,
Early too. How about that?
what?
Early.
Voting early.
Oh,
too.
I did vote early, and my mother-in-law just voted too, so it's kind of cool.
Yay.
Anyway, so I was doing a gig probably 3 weeks ago, and so I don't think I had COVID when I was in, but I had something.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was like 2 weeks before I got COVID. I was in Colorado, and I had to drive to Telluride from Denver, and it turns out, and I'm not great with heights, but I'm not I've never been terrible, and I don't like suspension bridges. Like when I go over those big bridges,
Yeah.
like in Mackinac Island or like in San Francisco, I tend to eat the car in front of me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so sad, too bad. But
Do
I'm
you
just,
think that somehow is going to save you if you're really close to the other car?
well, if I concentrate on them, I don't get, because I don't know what it is, if it's fear of heights or if it's vertigo or whatever it
You
is.
just don't wanna
I
get
always-
dizzy.
I get dizzy, and I think I'm going to send myself over the side of the.
Gotcha.
So the last 14 miles between whatever town and Telluride has no railings.
Nope. Can't do
And
it.
it goes down 20,000,
Jesus Christ.
like 6,000 feet.
yeah.
And so I was shaking like a leaf.
I bet.
And I've never done this before in my life, but I got to the hotel in Telluride, and I walk in, and I'm just shaking, and I said, "Someone is going to have to get me off of this mountain. I'm not getting in that car
Yeah,
again."
yeah.
And I've never done anything like it before
Right.
because I was raised to not be a burden.
Right.
And so
Yeah, you don't want to be a diva, but it's
right,
it's scary.
and I paid somebody $100 to drive that car.
I 100%
And-
get that.
Right, and I was like, money's no object.
Yeah, right.
I cannot do this. And so, but weirdly enough, 2 weeks later, I had a series of gigs where I was just a support act, right?
Okay.
So I drove from Los Angeles to a place called Arroyo Grande, which is which also has cliffs. Nothing like Colorado,
Yeah.
Okay.
but bad enough that I was a little dizzy.
Oh.
And then I had to cross the state to get to Bakersfield, and that was the bad one.
Okay.
And then I had to drive up to Modesto. But what it was is, so on Wednesday I left and I drove to Arroyo Grande. I did the show with Gary Gulman, opened for Gary Gulman.
nice.
Super
Nice.
fun.
Yeah.
And then I drove across the state and I did Bakersfield and with Gary Gulman. And then I drove up to Modesto and I opened for Maria Bamford.
Nice.
And then I was driving back from Modesto and I was ill.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think I have COVID, and I've never had COVID.
Right. Yeah.
And I forgot all the symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people have different experiences with different strains.
Very wildly different.
And I had just gotten, like days earlier, the new vaccine.
The same exact thing happened to me. I got it right after I got the vaccine.
Right. So I got the vaccine, and I got. So by the time I get to Bakersfield, between Bakersfield, California, and Los Angeles, there is a small mountain that you have to go over. It's called the Grapevine. And I was so dizzy that I was like, I can't even do it. And I live with my mother-in-law, and she is very old and frail. And I'm like, I'm not bringing COVID into this house.
Right.
So leaving in Modesto, I looked for a PCR place to test.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Are you done with all of your gigs at this point?
Done with all of my gigs at this point.
And you weren't feeling bad doing the gigs?
No, but I didn't sell. Because I didn't, I felt
you didn't
like
sell merchandise after the
I didn't sell
show.
merchandise after the shows because I felt like I vaguely had something, like a cold.
Gotcha.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not hugging people.
Smart.
I'm not shaking
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
I don't need. It'll be fine.
Because you're a libtard.
Yeah, you
wouldn't
it's so
shake hands.
sad. It's so sad that I won't even fist bump.
Oh,
Anyway,
man, you've got it bad.
I do
Yeah.
have it bad. I clearly woke, and but by the time, so what I do is I pull over. I look for a PCR place in Modesto. Can't find one. Can't find one in Baker. Yeah, so as I drove through Fresno.
Okay.
So I can't find one in Fresno. They're not doing PCR at urgent care anymore.
Wow.
So I get to Bakersfield and I'm done. I'm like, I feel like I'm about to fall
Oh, you
over in
poor
a heap.
thing.
So I essentially go and I find a Hampton Inn, not on the 99, guys. I saved $20 a night by going off the 58. So
That's your dad talking.
I'm frugal. And so I drive there. I bring all my luggage and all my stuff in. And I just check in. And then I go to, there's a Kaiser. I'm Kaiser.
Okay.
I go to a Kaiser urgent care. There's no line. And I was like, wow, why don't I live in Bakersfield? Any number of reasons.
Yeah.
And so, but
Is Kaiser urgent care the same as an emergency room at Kaiser?
no, it's,
So it's like, okay, they have urgent cares all over
Yep.
LA, but I didn't know they had Kaiser urgent care. Okay.
yeah. And so if you have Kaiser insurance, I think it's still a $50 copay, which is annoying.
That's a lot.
But, so I check in.
Yeah.
I go to Walmart and buy an over-the-counter test.
Right.
Okay.
I take it. I've got COVID.
Right.
I'm masked up, by the way, all the way down from Modesto.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I need a PCR test. I need to double check this with an actual doctor.
Wait, you were
So-
driving by yourself and you were masked?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't do that.
I was
But
like,
every
wow,
time I
she's
stop
really,
for gas
like,
or
working with Lori Kilmartin has really brainwashed you. If you're
Oh, my God.
masking yourself in the car.
I love Lori, but she is very sad because she watched her mom die on
I
an
know.
iPad
Yeah.
I
during
know.
the height of the pandemic. So she will, I don't
She's
think she'll
extremely
ever
vigilant.
not wear a
Yeah.
mask. I think she's in for the duration here. And so I go, I have COVID according to Walmart.
Yes.
Because
Because if you didn't have it before you went into Walmart, you certainly have it now.
I go to Kaiser. I get to see a doctor. They test me. And they're like, "Yeah, you got COVID." And I'm like, "You did the same test I just did in my hotel room." And and I was like, "Well, do I just have to buy Dayquil and NyQuil and suck it up, or do you have that Paxlovid stuff?" And they were like, "Well, that Paxlovid stuff is hard on your kidneys." And I said, "Well, here's the deal. I'll only take it for the 5 days.
I'm not going to get addicted to Paxlovid.
Right? It'll be fine. I won't take it forever. And I'm not going to vape it. How about that?"
You're going to sell Paxlovid on the street. This is street Paxlovid.
Right, so he gives me Paxlovid, he gives me an inhaler,
Okay.
and he gives me some cough medicine, some pills.
Okay.
And so I crawl into my hotel room, and
Awful.
8 days I stay in
Oh my
Bakersfield.
God. How bad did you
What?
How bad did you feel? Because some people have COVID.
Right.
And it's like, oh, yeah, I just had a mild cold. And other people are like, I felt like I was going to die.
I genuinely felt like I was going to die.
For
It
the
was
whole
weird.
8 days?
No. No, here's what happened. So, by the way, speaking of Lori Kilmartin, she was doing Sunnyvale. She was doing Rooster T. Feathers, which, by the
Yes.
way, is off the 5, not the 99. Neither one of us remembered that.
Okay.
She was driving back on this Sunday, and she's like, I'll just stop off. I'll get you like some peanut butter and jelly and some bread. She was like, what should I get you? And that was all I could think of.
That's so
And
sweet.
Very sweet, except for she was on the 5. She added an hour and a half to her drive by coming into the 99.
You couldn't have called Uber
totally
Eats or
could have.
whatever. Uber,
sorry, who?
Uber Eats? Uber
I could have
Oops.
called Instacart. I could have called any
Yeah.
number of places. Matter of fact, days later, I was done with peanut butter and jelly. But
Yeah,
she
I
also
bet.
wanted to leave me an air purifier. And I'm like, stop talking. I'm not inviting people into the hotel.
Yeah, why you need, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to purify the air that I'm only eating.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Drinking,
so when
breathing.
she got out the trebuchet to send you the peanut butter and jelly, because certainly she's not going to go within 50 feet of you.
Well, I met her outside. She's like, why are you outside? And I was like, well, because you shouldn't have to
Right.
come into the room. And she's like, well, and she got me Gatorade because I'm told
Yeah.
Gatorade. She got me sugared Gatorade, which I was like, sugar-free Gatorade. I hate Gatorade, first of all.
Yeah.
And I drank as much Gatorade as I could
Yeah.
because the potassium's what you're supposed to do.
Right,
I
right.
saw Idiocracy too. I know it's what a body craves, and but don't water the plants with it, people. And so, yeah. So she gave me. It was beautiful. But by day 3 or 2, I was like, I cannot eat any more peanut butter and jelly
No.
right now.
And you
so-
don't have much of an appetite anyway when you have COVID.
No, I was
Right.
just like, and so I essentially here's the symptoms I did not know. I understand you can have like a sore throat, like shards in your
Yes,
throat. I
yes.
didn't have that.
Good.
I had a terrible cough
Okay.
that was so I couldn't sleep I was sleeping like 2-hour junkets. And 2 or 3 hours, by the end of it was like 3 hours. I had a headache so bad
Yeah.
that I thought I was going to die. I literally packed up all of my stuff so that when they came and found my body,
No, Jackie.
I don't want to be a burden.
oh, Jackie.
You don't want anybody to have to pack your stuff.
Now,
did it-
please tell me you did get NyQuil or something.
I did.
Okay.
They gave me this cough medicine stuff, these pills that were essentially cough medicine, but I had bought Dayquil so that I could make the drive
Right.
from Modesto down to Bakersfield. I was just like, because that has like, I don't know, Coke in it or something. Like
I mean,
it
and
has,
that's
like,
in it.
meth.
Get rid of your headache.
It helped a little.
Yeah.
And the NyQuil, and I had bought some NyQuil, but I try not to chug NyQuil because, especially while driving, I didn't do
Well,
that.
no,
I did
of course
Dayquil.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so it was bad for 3 days.
Okay. Yeah.
Super bad for
Right.
3 days, and then
And you can't really do anything, right? Because
No.
it's not your head hurts too much to watch show. Like you're just laying there.
and and quite honestly, I was told for long COVID because obviously Lori Kilmartin has done a lot of research
Yes.
into, as has my friend Nina, and they both told me don't watch screens and stuff.
What?
Just because it's a brain fog thing, it affects your brain. So you can listen to
Really?
things, but try not to be on the computer too much or your phone too much.
Okay.
I don't know how you could anyway with that headache.
Right.
Because it's like it hurts so much.
Literally, I just speaking of being hippy skippy, all awoken.
Yeah.
I listened to like Louise Hay affirmations,
Yeah.
and I just I was like, just anything to, just sort of positive.
Right.
Making
Yeah.
deals with God.
Yeah, yeah.
If
it was
this
Yeah.
is better, I'll never say bad things about Republicans again.
oh no, and
Broke that deal real quick.
Yeah.
he said that deal was never made. I was like, fuck them, and the Nazis they wrote in on. So
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was day 3, and so by day 3 I tested again,
Okay.
and I was negative.
Wow.
That's
Whoa.
good.
Day 3 or 4,
Yeah.
I think it was. I can't remember, but I think it was day 4. I tested negative.
Okay.
And so I was there Sunday. Yes, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so I tested on day 4, and I tested negative, and I was like, so I could go home, except for I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
That if I went home, we have 2 dogs and a cat and my mother-in-law who needs care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Not ready.
You're not
for
going to
that.
have the energy to do anything.
I'm not going to have the
Yeah.
energy to do it, and I don't know if I'm still. And so I'm like, I'm going to stay till Friday.
Because I mean, I don't remember, but like, can't you still be contagious? Yeah, for 10 days, right? So
And also
like,
the
I
drive.
think it's 5
And the
now,
drive, yeah.
according to CDC. And I couldn't face the drive. I
Yeah.
couldn't face the
No,
drive
it's
over
dangerous, yeah.
the grapevine. So I was like, I'm going to stay till Friday. And on Friday, I was feeling a lot better, but I'm still tired. It's been 2 weeks.
yeah.
And
Wait, you mean you're still tired right now?
yeah.
Really? And it's been 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I mean, and granted, I didn't, and I tried to rest as much as I could.
Yeah.
Because I was told if you do the right thing, if you rest
Yeah.
correctly,
Yeah.
I can't. So I had 2 weeks of work immediately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that I canceled.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
which is good.
Yes,
because
yes,
I
yes.
was like, I'm not.
You got to give your body rest. It's so much on people's bodies.
It's so much on people's bodies and brains. I was told that you have to give this extra rest. So on Friday, I was like, I could go home, and then I thought, I'm staying. I'm staying till Monday.
I totally get that. You're
Yeah.
like, it's easier here.
It's easier.
Yes.
And
yes.
so
This is
so
where I
much
live now.
responsibility
I
back at
ordered a
home.
pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the hilarious thing, though. So
Did you make Lori come and bring you the pizza?
No. But here's the awesome part is, so I spent essentially 4 days wandering around Bakersfield.
I mean, for
You
those
had a
who
little
don't,
mini break.
for those who don't live
Mini
on
break. But there's, if you were to have to quarantine somewhere, the joke town would be Bakersfield.
That's what I was
'Cause
trying to
there
explain,
would be no
yeah.
temptation to leave your hotel room.
Yeah, there's
What are you gonna
nothing to
see?
do, right?
What are you going to see? And it turns out, because I do the road so much, know exactly how to find. Essentially, if I had to live in Bakersfield,
Yeah.
and I said this to Andy, he goes, "We will never live in Bakersfield."
No.
Anyway, I said, but if we had to, here's how if you ever go to a town that you don't know the town and you want to find the 100 people that you want to know
Okay,
in that
okay.
town, you Yelp Google the words "pour over coffee."
Oh.
And then you will, and then
Yeah.
you sort by reviewed, and then you find 4 people that you're like, oh, there's my people.
Okay.
Pour over coffee. That's such a good note. Because I mean, when we've been on a road trip and
That's
we
it.
have to stop in a small town and we're going to maybe.
Right, you're in the middle of Montana.
Yes, and it's like, how do I figure out where I can get like a decent salad, or like I don't want to go to a chain place, I don't
Or-
want to eat at the Applebee's, like
Yeah.
and I don't want to be stuck with all the Trump people.
Right, the Trump people are going.
They're
to
not getting pour
normal-
over coffee.
Okay.
They're not
So-
getting pour over coffee.
Yeah,
I have heard that expression, but I don't know literally what it means.
I don't even like pour over.
What
coffee.
is it?
it's the fancy.
They make it by 1 cup at a frickin' time.
It's fancy coffee. It's where you're going. It's the Highland Park of any.
Any town.
It's
But
the
you know what's so funny though, because it just sounds like to me. It would
It sounds
visualize
like
the opposite.
Mr. Coffee.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I'll pour you a
Yeah,
cup
just
of coffee.
pour a cup of coffee,
No,
yeah.
It's you know the cone that they use with a Mr. Coffee. They
Yeah.
put it on top of a cup.
Oh,
They
okay.
grind
Yeah.
just the right amount.
Just for you.
Just
it's like
the right
that fancy carafe
Oh.
they use, and when people just want to have it.
Andy Kindler loves a pour
Yes.
over coffee.
Okay.
And whatever it is, there's several episodes about pour over coffee of the Dork Forest. You knock yourselves
You're
out,
kidding.
people. People love it.
That's what they want to talk about.
Yeah,
That's so
the-
interesting.
People love different things.
So you're in Bakersfield.
I'm
you're
in Bakersfield.
you're roaming around.
Right. So I'm finding.
Did you go
I
see a
find-
movie?
You're finding the pour over
Oh, no.
coffee.
Why wouldn't you go see a movie?
Because I wasn't supposed to do screen time.
Oh, still
For the
I mean,
long
even though you
COVID.
felt better.
Felt better. I rewatched all of Foyle's War on Prime Video on my phone.
What's
it was
Foyle's
dope.
War?
That sounds. I don't. First of all, I've never heard of that.
BritBox. It's
Okay.
a murder mystery show that takes place during World War II, and this guy is a cop.
Ooh, this
who
sounds
wants-
right up my alley.
Oh my god, it's so good. And there's a spin-off of it called Home Fires.
Okay.
Which essentially, if you've ever read Ender's Game, it's the Ender's Shadow of Foyle's War.
I didn't, but I think I need to get BritBox because I'm missing all these.
I think there's one person in here
Who
that
just
may
got,
have got that.
Was that you?
Yes.
Yeah,
There we go.
I don't know
Yes.
any of the words you said,
Okay.
but
Oliver does.
no, he's not into that kind of stuff. It's
might be
weird.
one day.
Yeah, he definitely might be.
He's busy
Okay,
making
so you weren't supposed to-
awesome action figures.
Right. So you weren't supposed to watch a movie, but you did watch an entire series on your phone.
Right. Or I
So
kind
I'm
of
sure-
listened to it.
Okay,
Because I had rewatched it, and so I could just listen to it
Yeah.
and go,
that's true.
oh, there's Foyle's son. He has a Spitfire. Anyway, so I'm so sad. But here's the thing. Okay, so like the first day I felt kind of okay. I was like, I gotta eat something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found a cafe in a strip mall called the Wake Up Cafe.
Okay.
Where I went and I had a salsa verde scramble.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It was so good. It was so good. Guess what? Bakersfield, California has really good Mexican food.
Okay.
As you can
Interesting.
imagine.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they've been there longer than the Whitey Magoos
Gotcha.
of
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
And so it was so good. There was also a place that was attached to my Hampton Inn that you got 15% off. I tried to eat a soup there one night. It was actually very mediocre. But seemed to be a really good watering hole for people who lived in Bakersfield. And I was
Right.
like, I'm good. I don't
So
have to eat here
at
again.
any point was Andy like, I
Please
think you
come
can come home now.
No,
And you're like,
but
I'm
yes.
staying longer in Bakersfield. I like it here.
I live in Bakersfield now. No, he was on Friday when I told him I was staying till Monday. He was like, "You do whatever you got to do," you know, and he knew, and I was like, "I think I'm just too tired,"
Yeah.
and he's exhausted because
Yeah.
he's taking care of his mother,
Of course.
Right.
and he's
And all
taking
these
care of the
pets.
dogs and the
Right.
cat, and so but I was sending him help. Like some of the younger comics, I'm like, you want to make $40 an hour, and will you go, essentially spend 2 to 4 hours helping
Smart.
Andy with the
Yes.
dogs and the cat and clean the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the dogs are also, I'm running a hospice for everybody. The dogs are aging. The cat's 17.
Didn't you used
So-
to have an iguana? Or...
He had an iguana for 23
Right,
years.
okay.
And I'm going to tell this story about Danielle Koenig is that when Andy and I were first dating,
Yes.
we were at Magnolia Grill.
Oh, were we?
And I was telling you that I was dating him, and he was like, "What's he like?" And I said, "Well, when I met him, he had a wizard beard and an iguana."
So did my husband.
And this is what Danielle Koenig said to me.
Tell me. Tell me.
Either one of those, deal breaker.
Yes. My husband had two bearded
sounds like
dragons and this long hanging.
No. Soul patch?
It was like long like this.
No.
And pointy?
Without
And
a
point-
mustache?
and pointy.
He
And
had a goatee, which ended up with a pointy part. That was
he had a
like
little pointy
wizard
thing and wore jewelry.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I was like, I mean,
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but
That's
you're
too
also
much.
an architect and like really nice and into me. So how do I square
He's
all
an
this?
architect. That's neat.
Yeah.
Andy's a game designer.
So I was
that
like-
was also neat.
that is
Yeah.
neat.
I was like,
the
you're
game
not
design
in
part.
any form of show
And-
business.
He and the first time he kissed me, he said, "Is my beard too much?" And I said, "It's your face. Do whatever you want." Next time I saw him, no beard.
He knew. So you got through it.
Got through it. I lived.
But you're still tired.
I'm still 2 weeks later, kind of exhausted.
But you know
other
what? 2
things
weeks
have happened.
isn't that. Oh. Yeah.
There's been a lot of sort of emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, when you come home, you kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And Andy was like, "You'll walk the dogs, right?"
Yeah, because
You'll walk-
he wants a break,
Right. He needs a break.
but you're also like, but I'm also still recovering.
Right.
Yeah.
And and I've got nothing. Here's the thing about Andy Ashcraft. He is my favorite person in the world.
Yes.
So whatever I can do to make his life slightly easier,
That's so
I'm on
sweet.
board. You know that there's something funny that happens several nights a week when I sleep with my husband, is that he'll be pounding his pillow, and then he'll look
Pounding
at me.
his pillow.
Sort of
Getting it ready.
fluffing it.
Oh, Jesus. I'm
fluffing
like,
his
I didn't know
pillow.
if that was a
No,
euphemism or something.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Fluffing his pillow up. That doesn't sound any better.
No.
Whatever. He's working with his pillow to make it so he can sleep.
He's
no
fucking
way
his
out.
pillow. He's JD Vancing his pillow. He's unzipping the pillow,
There's no way out.
inserting
There
some
really
filling.
isn't.
Whatever it is. He takes the pillow.
Yeah.
And then he always stares at me for like a heartbeat. And then he goes, and then he pretends to put it, and he puts on my
Right.
face. And then now, 20 years later, we've been together. I do it to him sometimes, and it never doesn't get a laugh.
Yeah.
Every time.
so cute.
We're adorable.
You are adorable.
It's hard to
Are.
be us.
And you're
Spoon or be
adorable.
spooned.
And thank you so
being-
much for being
being
here.
on the show.
That
Oh my
was
gosh.
great.
That was
I'm
so-
may you never have to spend how many days? 8 days.
days.
Yeah. That's
In
that's a
Bakersfield
country
again.
song.
8 days in
days in
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Merle Haggard would have sang it.
It should
Merle,
be.
Absolutely.
You know who Chris Christopherson would have wrote the shit out of that song.
He would
have
have.
written.
Really?
You know what we got though out of this?
What?
We got a great vacation guide to Bakersfield. If we ever end up in
Yes, or
Bakersfield,
anywhere.
we know where to eat. We know where
yeah.
to get coffee. We know where to
Yes.
get baked goods.
Eggs.
Yeah, we know where to get
Yeah.
the yummy steak and it. Like anybody who's going through Bakersfield now.
You got it.
Jamaican jerk chicken was the last place I went. So use Yelp. Use Yelp.
Use it to your
wisely.
advantage.
Yes.
Pour over coffee. That's what
There
you
you
Google.
go.
Sort by reverse.
That's
reviewed.
smart.
Man, that is such a good how to survive tip, Jackie.
How to survive
Wow,
Bakersfield.
thank you.
Thank you. And we will be back right after this with What Did We Learn Today?
Danielle,
Christine.
are you ready to learn what we learned today?
So ready?
Turns out there is a limit to how many vaccines you can get at one
Oh,
time.
boy.
3. Don't do it, guys.
Especially not the shingles.
Yeah, don't
So bad.
be 50.
Yeah.
Need to lube your brain? Write jokes. Nightmares are vivid dreams that may be threatening, upsetting, bizarre, or otherwise bothersome. They occur more often during rapid eye movement, REM sleep, the stage of sleep associated with intense dreaming. Nightmares arise more frequently in the second half of the night when more time is spent in REM sleep, which I think we had said.
Yeah.
But Garen is just
Well, this is
establishing.
what have we learned.
Yes.
So we're Yeah.
establishing that I wasn't just talking out of my one of my holes. That
Right.
was not this one. I don't know. From espro.com, pour over coffee brewing involves pouring hot water over coffee grounds. Gravity then takes over, draining the water through the grounds, out the bottom of the cone and into your mug. Voila, coffee. Wait, isn't that the same thing as drip coffee?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not
Yeah,
quite.
okay.
Pour over coffee is a fundamentally manual process. There's no automation involved, and this shift in technique changes how the brewing works. Makes it taste better.
Okay, because that's how my mom has it. She had a little thing that goes right over the cup with the.
Your mom was fancy.
Yeah, but I never knew that was fancy.
It is fancy.
Did you watch the Anatomy of Lies?
You know, guys,
Yeah.
we should talk more about this in the bonus.
Okay.
But no, I watched a little bit of it.
Okay,
And
we'll
then I
talk
was
about it
like,
in the bonus.
I feel like I already know this. But yes, let's talk about it in the bonus. We're going to record the bonus
In a minute.
in a minute. And guys,
So weird.
we have some crazy stuff we're going to talk about in the bonus. It is NSF, not safe for regular.
Free.
I don't know. It's NS, it's not safe. It's not safe. It's
just
dangerous. It's just NS, not
Okay.
safe. So
Well-
we should wrap this up. And I guess that was just a plug for our Patreon listeners. If you're not one and you want to hear us get real raw,
Jesus.
Oh,
guys, we're gonna get raw.
We're gonna have bring some pillows in here. Real raw.
We're about to pound pillows.
And until next time, remain calm. Jesus.